A team mentality.
There's zero respect for the men in this room. Zero.
A team mentality.
What up, Gamecock Nation? You know who it is. Mr. Gamecock himself, Mr. Gamecock OV. Back with you once again. New season, 2024. I'll get to the previous uploads that weren't uploaded later on. But definitely stay tuned for my Gamecock game prediction as the South Carolina football Gamecocks face the LSU Tigers at Williams-Brice Stadium tomorrow. So we'll get into it in just a second. So here we are, 2024. Our South Carolina football Gamecocks are 2-0, 2-0, facing the LSU Tigers 1-1. They're on the road, ranked number 16 in the country, I believe. So we all know how this is going to look. We all know how the pundits are going to say. The pundits are saying. The commentators, the ESPN guys, the Paul Feinbaums, the Josh Pates of the world. Two gentlemen I definitely never met before, but I respect their viewpoints and perspectives. And guess what? South Carolina is an underdog in this game. They're playing at home, undefeated, against a team that is 1-1, and basically, blew out a team that they were supposed to blow out. That's just how it was. So this is really a big test for South Carolina. Even though they played, Kentucky, this is more than likely going to be considered a harder test for them simply because they're facing a ranked opponent. There's going to be talk about, Garrett Nussmeier, he's the quarterback for LSU. He's in rare company. He threw for 6 touchdown passes, and he joins Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels as the only LSU quarterbacks to ever throw 6 touchdowns in a game. Well, he's supposed to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
Against Nichols. Okay? The university is named after money. It's named after change. So, of course, he's supposed to throw 6 touchdown passes. The defense pretty much got going late in the game. I mean, they did what they had to do. They did just enough to make sure that the team won. They didn't record any sacks or anything such as that. So I guess the offensive line for Nichols did pretty well. But this is not about Nichols. It's about South Carolina. But the fact of the matter is, why is South Carolina a 7-point underdog against LSU? Ooh, I'm glad you asked. South Carolina is an underdog because that is where the pundits, and this includes the Paul Feinbaums and the Josh Pates of the world, this is where they expect South Carolina to be. They expect them to be underdogs 99% of the time. Even if they're favored at home, they're not going to be favored by double-digit, points or anything such as that, because according to Vegas, which is like the staple of the betting world, South Carolina is a touchdown favorite to lose, or lose by a touchdown, basically. They're expected to lose at home to a team that has a worse record than them. So it really doesn't matter about the records and wins and losses and things of that nature, unless it comes to South Carolina. When it comes to South Carolina, those things are very important. South Carolina's, losses, here and there and this and that and the third, and I get it. South Carolina is always going to be the David to all the other blue blood Goliaths out there, the LSUs, the Alabamas, the Georgias. They're always going to be looked at as, where they once were to where they are now. There's always going to be questions associated with the South Carolina football Gamecocks. Is Shane Beamer the coach to take them there? What do they have to do? And there's always these questions. And I get it. I trust me, I get it. And again, no disrespect to the ESPN commentators and reporters and all those guys, because South Carolina has had some lean years. They've had some up and down years, some inconsistent years. And as a true fan, I'm not disguising that or saying, oh my gosh, we were good every year except these. The standard for us, the bar that we're trying to get back to, which everyone kind of points out, is where Steve Spurrier, those 3 years that we were good. We went to bowl game after bowl game after bowl game, and it was exciting. It was great. And we haven't reached that point really since consistently. We've been to some bowl games since then, but we haven't been there consistently. We haven't been in the conversations of SEC championships and things of that nature. And it's always those three things: win the state, meaning beat Clemson, get to the SEC East, get to the SEC championship and win that. Well, now there is no SEC East or SEC West. Nope. So it's just the SEC. So kind of have to readjust those types of goals. But when it comes to South Carolina, it's always question marks. It's always this, that, can they do it? What do they have to do? What do they have to do? And I get it. And the reason why I say that about those pundits, the commentators and whatnot, is because while they are looking at the X's and the O's and the strength of schedules and what South Carolina does on the road or what they don't do at home, they never talk about South Carolina's heart. They never talk about South Carolina's grit. You never see South Carolina just lay down and say, okay, you guys win. We're not going to try to tackle you. Go ahead and run the score up on us. No, they will fight until the final seconds tick off. That's just who the South Carolina football Gamecocks are. But that rarely gets discussed. Now, one may say, well, grit and heart doesn't win football games. But they do provide motivation. They do provide momentum. And I think as South Carolina continues to find their identity, they will build momentum as the season goes on. And they will begin to prove people and the doubters wrong, even those within the Gamecock fan base. I'm a true believer of that. Now, with that being said, you're here for the Gamecock game prediction, and these are the 3 keys to victory for the Gamecocks. Number 1, they have to win the line of scrimmage. They have to be the bully and not be bullied. They have to bully that defensive line of LSU. If they can do that and protect Lenora Sellers and open those lanes for Rocket Sanders and the running backs to, get positive yardage, they're not going to break 10, 15-yard runs every time they run the ball. Because they will look at the paper and be like, oh, talent-wise, LSU has more talent. More people will go to LSU that have talent, and they have more 5 stars and more 4 stars and more 6 stars. They maybe have some 8 stars on their team. That may be true. But we have to win the line of scrimmage. Number 2, get the ball out quickly. They're going to try to blitz Lenora Sellers. Mark my words. They're going to try to blitz him on just about every play, maybe twice a series, just to get the ball out of his hands and back into Garrett Nussmeier's hands. So that means we have to get the ball out quickly. No long developing plays or anything such as that. Don't try to resort to a trick play to try to get them off keel and use special teams and all that sort of stuff. Just assess and adjust. That's it. Assess and adjust. And lastly, the last key to victory for the South Carolina Gamecocks is not defense. It is what I just spoke of, special teams. Just have the special teams pin LSU deep in their own territory. Make them go the length of the football field. Garrett Nussmeier is a great quarterback. I'm not going to dispute that by any means or any stretch of the imagination that he's not capable of leading his team to victory. But he has supporting cast for a reason. He's not going to beat you with his legs. He's going to try to beat you with his arm. So if we make them go the length of the football field, chances are there's going to be an errant throw, a tipped pass. And that's where the Gamecocks normally capitalize on defense. But it starts with special teams. So, Gamecock game prediction is this. With all that being said, if these keys right here to victory are played out the way that I feel that they are and will, the Gamecocks will come away with the win 24-21. It's not going to be a a lot of points scored in this game. South Carolina is not built to score points. They're not an offensive juggernaut. That's not to say they can't be one day, but right now they're not. They will find their identity, and that's going to be a scary thing. So 24-21. That is my Gamecock game prediction. I am Mr. Gamecock, Gamecock OV here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in to the Gamecock Game Day channel, where you find these Gamecock game predictions. Some insight, you know. I'm a common sense type of fan. Hey, let's face it, but a true fan nonetheless. So root for those Gamecocks, and thank you so much for watching. Comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.
This is a culture built on love, man.
At night, when this place is rocking like this is the best environment in all of college football.
Welcome back